Have we started? Have we started the fire?
Yes, the fire rises.
Everybody's mic is muted.
There we go.
including yours. You were muted too, buddy.
Yeah. Well, anyway, y'all catch the drift. I'll play it again.
Man, that coach gets more hyped for any game that I ever played in.
Yo, for real, right? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to ACS Universe. This is episode 38. You see some familiar faces here. They kind of rotate as co-hosts on every episode of my show. We got Dawson here. We got Zod Ryder. What's good, fellas?
Good.
Always great to be a part of the ACS Universe.
Yeah.
For real. It's fire.
Bringing the fire. Yes. So, very special episode. We got a special guest coming on with us.
Yes.
You know him as the author of the Release the Snyder Cut book, which I can't wait for, and I'm sure I feel the same way as you guys do when it comes to that. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, Sean O'Connell.
Hey.
Oh,
do it.
Okay, here we go. You here?
Hi guys, how are you? Got me?
Hey, Sean.
Yeah. We're doing good.
Good.
Love the shirt.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Very much.
You're always dressed appropriately for these things, Sean. Completely. Like,
I sure hope so.
I have so many of these shirts, literally.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Recently, I wore a non-superhero comic book shirt, and my wife looked at me like, "What's the matter?" And I was like, "I just wanted to wear a different shirt today."
I feel that. Earlier today, I did a review of Batman Mask of the Phantasm and I wore this shirt, and I'm just like, I feel blasphemous.
Yeah.
It's a Monty Python shirt. It's so great.
You should feel that way, Dawson. That's.
Don't take that from me.
No,
I don't. I'll talk to him after the show.
So Sean, my show a little bit different. I don't really follow a script. It's kind of random. I don't look at these things as like when I bring guests on as like interviews. I look at it as you just came to hang out with us for a little bit. So I mean, obviously we'll talk about the book because that's what I'm like super excited about it. And before we jump in, get any deeper in this, let's check these comments to see who's here. Let's see, Ray's collection. Let's go. Yeah, I'm good, bro. Gavin is here. Thanks. This is going to be fire. Yes,
Gavin?
it is.
Yes.
Sickness is here. Yes, fire.
Is that ever a question if Sickness is here? He's always here.
Yeah, he's always here. Yeah, his sickness spells out
He
fire.
never sleeps. That man. He's got infinite energy.
And then Gavin again, the fire rises. Yes, it does. Movie Lovers Unite. What's good, John? Hey guys, just want to pop in before my show. I say, yep, it's gonna be fire, man. All right, so on my show, Sean, I asked 3 questions, totally random questions, have nothing to do with anything, just lets the audience know a little bit more about you. So, are you ready for question number 1?
I'm ready.
All right. If someone gave you $1 billion right now, what's the first thing you're doing?
Paying off all of our debt, which would include mortgage, credit card, cars. And I've got a 16-year-old who's going away to college soon, so putting it away, which is the most boring answer in the world. But if you can get that stability, then the rest is coast. So that's probably what I would do with it.
Fellas, take financial advice from this guy because that's exactly what you all should do if you ever came upon $1 billion. It makes the perfect answer.
Sense. Yeah.
I got too much like shit. Like I don't need more shit.
Yeah.
So I'd rather just get rid of all the little debt we got.
See, everything you see in this frame is all the crap that I have of DC stuff. So like, I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum. We're like, I would like more. Like,
we just some of us like to take a minimalist approach, Dawson. I mean, it's okay.
Either we like to or we're forced to due to financial circumstances. So
I have
Yeah.
definitely hit that stage in life where I'm getting rid of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like I haven't touched this in a while. This should be gone. This should be gone by now.
Yeah, because isn't the rule of thumb if you haven't touched something for like a year, then you're
Oh.
never going to use it again. You can get rid of it.
Absolutely. That's a great practice to have.
my mom does not follow that. Every time we've moved, like our just stuff gets more exponentially bigger and it gets harder to pack into a U-Haul.
So
And
you got a bigger U-Haul.
we can't.
Oh, they get the biggest.
That's why I can't watch that Hoarders show.
Oh yeah, those people are something else.
That show legitimately makes me feel ill because I would need to be organizing some stuff. And
Yes.
they have stuff that's like, and then they literally cannot get rid of it. Like if you say like, you really don't need this paper plate anymore, that has lunch on it from 10 years ago. And they're like, but I might.
They give you 7 reasons why they still need that plate.
It's a psychological disconnect between the reality of what you actually need, what's actually required, and something in your mind telling you that you could use this later. It's bizarre.
Yep, it really is.
Actually, for me personally, I'd get like a large bottle of alcohol and a 12-pack, and I'd sit there for about 24 hours and try to process the fact that my universe just changed. With $1 billion, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to think for a while. Let's see. Look, my wife is in here. She says,
Hey.
here too. Zebra fat, buy my own island. Yeah. We both said that. at the same time.
No, bad take, Ryan.
El Cappy was good. I would finance the back. Hey, there you go, man. That's what we're all looking for.
That's a good use.
Yeah, it is.
Because it would be a good return on your investment too. Think about it. If you invest in something like that, you're going to gain, because then later on you're going to have home video sales and all kinds of things. So that's
Good point.
Yeah,
pretty sensible
that works.
too, yeah.
That works. So, Sean, let me ask you, before we get into anything else, first question I have for you really is why did you decide on a book when it came to the movement? So what put your mind in a state to where, you know what, I'm going to write a book about this?
Yeah, that's a great question. Because for Cinema Blend, the website that I work for, I have been writing for years upon years. So that's kind of my my format. That's the portal that I'm used to doing. And so my career has always been about coming into a story, figuring out how to structure it, using paragraphs, sentences, words, so on and so forth. Only recently have I kind of branched out into hosting a podcast, doing some more videos for YouTube, for Cinema Blend YouTube channel. And it does make me wonder if I was a little bit more versed in that side, if I would have gone down the exploration, because honestly, one of my inspirations for even starting to do this was the documentary that John Schnepp did a while back about the Tim Burton Superman movie. And I was so inspired by the way that he just got to speak to the people who were behind that project and figuring out what went wrong. So I think having that as like a thing that I was looking at, but then thinking like, how best can I translate it? For me, I'm a writer. And so it was always just putting a template together, putting a format of the structures of what the chapters would be. And when I kind of figured out what each topic I would want to talk about, it built into what looked like a book. And so, yeah, that was always the format that I chose. I guess I kind of, like, finding a publisher was always going to be a challenge, but if you were going to do a documentary, finding someone to help you distribute it, or finding some way to get a foot in that door would be just as hard too. So I still think, look, someone's going to tackle that eventually. Someone's going to end up doing a documentary about it.
About the movement.
About the movement, about everything.
Think of it this way, though, Sean. Somebody will do a documentary about it, and then they'll include your book in the documentary. Your book will get mentioned. Your book will get mentioned, or at least shown in the documentary, as to show the cultural impact.
A book by Sean O'Connell. This is what happened.
Hey, by the way, in your intro graphic, I saw my cover float past.
Yeah, hey, but look, so the intro is it's. The video is what it is. I did it myself, but the music is Geraldo Cortes. He did a score for me for an intro, and it's great. But yeah, I made it so it's interchangeable, so I can just pick stuff and put stuff in here. When it changes. Oh, look, I apologize too. We're gonna probably ask you some stuff that you've been, and we probably already know the answers to a lot of these questions because we've seen you on different shows and podcasts over the past 2 or 3 months. But some of this stuff, my listeners or viewers probably might not know the answers to. So I apologize if it's like repetitive questions that you've been asked.
Not at all.
I mean, just a billion times before.
I'll change the answers.
They changed the answers.
Alternative facts.
Do you like the Snyder Cut? No.
The what?
Oh man. So let me ask you, I know you said this, especially I know you guys know the answer because he talked about it on you guys' show. Like, how did the announcement affect, because I know the book was at a certain point where it was like finished, and then the announcement comes out and it's like, oh shit, I got to go back and
Yeah. Well, it changed a lot, and in fact, everything that's going on now still changes a lot. Like, that's the most frustrating thing about this story is that it's not going to end. That's a good thing and a bad thing. So even now, sort of going back and rereading it, because I'm kind of in the final proofing stages of it, I reread certain stuff and I want to add a paragraph or two to almost update what's in there. But really, the announcement gave the book the ending that it needed, which was great. And I kind of figured that this story is going to have to tell a contained story, which was the release. The release of the theatrical cut, the movement kind of at that moment figuring out like, wow, something went really wrong. Everybody figuring out what went wrong and then unifying to almost get the cut released. So then getting the cut released was the end of legitimately the story that I chose to tell. But it's fascinating to step back and think about how many different angles you could have taken into this story. And you could get into the people in the movement who just can't stop looking for something to be mad about.
Oh yeah.
Wow. And that's a whole aspect that I didn't want to get into at all with this story. Yeah. But that story's there.
It is definitely there.
How you could start to scratch the surface back on everything that's going on with Ray and the reshoots. And the more stuff that's going to come out of that. And then of course the continuation of, there's new news almost every week of advancements of the Snyderverse.
Sounds like you've got enough material to already start writing your sequel.
Look, he's thinking.
Listen. I'll tell you guys, I'm scratching out notes at the very least, right? Like I'm at least keeping a timeline of everything that's happening because when I had to go back and sort of put together the 3 years of the release of Snyder Cut movement, I'd lived through it and we reported on all of it at Cinema Blend, but it still took a long time to sort of compile everything. So this time I'm like, I'm going to keep track of everything that happens because it's starting to really feel like another book is putting itself together.
Yeah. Behind the scenes of the behind the scenes, basically. Let's get to some of these sicknesses. I'll make a real life replica of the BBS Batmobile. That's pretty. What's good, Ill Life, man? Thanks for stopping by. This girl is like, hey, what's going on? She's zero. What is Ryan talking about? Right? He says false and then he says true. Like what's?
He's just bad take Ryan. What do you expect at this point? Like
Rasha Taylor, what's up? What's up? What's up?
Hey.
Sickness, hey Rasha, they're talking to each other. All right. So, what you got for us, Nerdy?
So I had a question regarding something that you talked about, Sean. I think it was a month or two ago. It was back when these rumors of Ryan Reynolds returning as Green Lantern for Zack Snyder's Justice League were running rampant everywhere, and people were like, "Oh, Ryan Reynolds is back! Ryan Reynolds is back!" And you tweeted out, and I actually retweeted it because I believe full-heartedly what you were saying.
Okay,
you basically tweeted out like, "There's no way that would happen, that he would be in that movie." I kind of want to know your thought process as to what made you first think that, and then two, tweet that out.
Yeah. Okay. So I shouldn't go that hard on it because my open-mindedness is kind of like, hey, anything can happen,
Yeah,
and that's a little bit where with the approach of the Snyder Cut when everyone was like, it doesn't exist. And I had an open mind and I was always like, I think it could, it's a possibility. But when I heard the Ryan Reynolds rumor, like that to me seems like 0.0001% chance. And that's only really there just so that I don't look like a total fool if he shows up. But he doesn't fit into Zach's universe,
Right.
at all. Like, and if Zach were to even try to include him, I don't see like that fitting in the least bit. B, Ryan Reynolds does not want to. He has no interest in redeeming that character. You know,
Right.
like that narrative of like this is a chance to restore his. No, he doesn't care. The Deadpool joke of him killing himself to prevent himself from doing Green Lantern is everything you need to hear commentary wise in terms of how he feels about that.
Right.
But also, like, that's just not, there's no way that Zach filmed that in 2017. And
Right.
we now know, we learned today, he's going to get a chance to do reshoots for this.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there's no way that any of those reshoots would include Ryan Reynolds coming back to join us. No, it's just, it doesn't, certain things have to pass a sniff test, and that does not pass in the least bit. And so I feel
stinks.
very comfortable saying that there's no way that that's going to happen.
There's no way. So speaking of the what you're talking about, the reshoots, you messaged me earlier. I had seen that one, but I was on Ryan's stream and I didn't get a chance to really read it. So we're gonna take a look at the link you sent me here. Cool. Zack Snyder planning new Justice League shoot amid Ray Fisher claims. All right, so Warner Media's investigation and allegation of misconduct of the 2017 film may impact how the Snyder Cut and spinoff The Flash proceed. All right. In October, director Zack Snyder will roll cameras for his extended cut of Justice League, working for Warner Media's HBO Max division in restoring his vision of the maligned 2017 movie that he exited because of a family tragedy. The shoot, which will turn the Snyder Cut into a 4-episode limited series, is expected to bring Ben Affleck as Batman, Henry Cavill as Superman, and Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman for new scenes. Also set to appear on the call sheet for what is expected to be a week or so long shoot is Ray Fisher, a Cyborg. You know whose name's missing from that? Victor Koo, man. What's Victor.
He'll be there. He'll be there.
He's the Green Lantern, so they have to keep him secret.
So what do you guys think about that, man? That's some great news.
It's not surprising, at least for me.
No, yeah, not surprised, no, but it's great to hear that they're finally going to go ahead and start that back up.
Right,
Maybe we'll get some kind of right.
What do you guys? I think he's probably shooting an alternate ending, something different than whatever he had planned for 2017, because
to go along with his prior mission or prior vision, right?
Yeah, or see, it's one of two things. He's either bringing some closure to whatever the story is because he doesn't plan to continue it, or he's setting up a different tease for something else he might get to continue to do on HBO Max, since whatever his conclusion at the end of the 2017 movie was going to be would have set up his Justice League Part 2. So it just depends on how he wants to proceed, whether he's going to move forward with it or not. But
could it be something that has to do with this?
The space and just be like dead. And so okay. So there's always like, so they had 2 windows, right, to do the jump. And Cyborg says like what which of these 2 windows do you think we should use? And Bruce was like, well, what window would you have put me through if you didn't ask? And he's like, this one. And then he's like, use the other one. Because that one you already did, and it was the wrong one. Barry Allen was in my freaking Batcave yelling at me about like nonsense. You need to put him through that other one, because that's the one that will, because he had to jump right before Darkseid boom tubes into the Batcave to murder Lois, so you have to like... Anyway. So that was the window that he had to like.
I love the way Zach says, well, anyway, like he didn't just burn the entire room down. With the...
I love Larry Fong's face. Larry Fong's like, what are you?
I don't think anybody expected Zach to drop that information.
Yeah, nah.
It's like, what are you doing?
Well, I mean, at that point in time, Zach didn't expect his he didn't expect to make his movie either.
Right.
Oh, and he finally joining us, finally jumping on here. It's got
Ah,
Ryan.
dang it. Why?
All right, you can take Dawson out. Let's go.
No, I'm the
Why
co-host.
is he
I'm
in
the
the middle?
co-host
Sean
today.
should be in the middle. He's the guest.
So, oh yeah.
Oh, you can do that? Hey, look at that.
Ah,
Fancy.
We try to be.
So yeah, I was telling you earlier, Sean, like your panel at Justice Con was one of my favorites, like top 3, because I am very, very interested in like the process of creativity, whether that's Blu-ray, like special features, anything like that. I just love hearing people talk about how they created something. So like especially reading that chapter you read right after that, I was just like, yo.
One of my favorite movies too. I love that film.
Great one.
So
Yeah, and I ripped it out.
yeah, that's
Ripped it out and threw it on the ground.
talk about like the reason why that you moved out. Well, we've heard it before, but some people might not have heard why you took that out of there.
Sure. So I had my opening into the story was going to be people at SnyderCon in Pasadena, essentially, learning all the things that Zach dropped during those post-screening Q&As. But then talking to the fans and taking pictures and signing things after the event and confirming on camera for the first time that the Snyder Cut exists, that he has it, and that it's up to Warner Brothers if they ever were wanting to release it. And if you think about it in the timeline, I'm sure that there were other little steps along the way that sort of somewhat confirmed the fact that it existed. But that to me was the mic drop moment where everybody was like, oh, it's confirmed. Like he's said it now, it's on camera. It was the last clue that people in the movement really needed to be like, oh, we're not fighting for something empty here. We're not on a wild goose chase, essentially. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to use that as the launch pad to get into this story. And then I'll sort of trace the history and figure out how the people got to the point, that brought them all the way up to the present day. And then when Zach went ahead and announced it, I realized that, that's the intro to the thing instead. And so I wrote a whole chapter about May 20th and Henry joining the live stream and Danielle asking the question and everything is just sort of capturing what happened on that magical day. Then I read the what now became chapter 2, and I was like, oh, it doesn't make sense to bounce back to Pasadena at this stage and to set up this entire thing of like, here's how people found out that the Snyder Cut exists, because Zach has already here he went ahead and announced it. And so when I jumped from the new chapter 1 to the existing chapter 3, I thought like, well, that flows so much better. And it really just meant having to make an executive decision and cut out chapter 2. And I kept a couple of quotes from a few people who I wanted to keep, and I just found different places to sort of move them into. But it's like you talk about the creative process. It's just not being afraid to say, like, in the moment, this has to go. This isn't, it doesn't work here anymore. The only thing that annoyed me the most about it is that I had a really long time to keep refining that opening chapter, because I thought, like, this is the first thing people are going to read, and I really want it to be the best it can be. And if I can get them into the story, it'll make it as interesting as possible. But because Zach dropped the announcement on May 20th and I had to turn my book in so quickly, it meant really having to hack away at that first chapter and make it to a point where I was happy with it. And you're never 100% happy with it. It's literally, I've heard this quote about films all the time from directors where they're just like, you're never done with it. They just take it away from you. Yeah. And that's literally what happens.
So the first chapter had to be changed to tie in with the outcome.
Well, I thought that opening it with May 20th made more sense, because that was such a significant day, and it was like the movement hitting their goal, essentially crossing their finish line.
Yes.
And I wanted to open big. I wanted to open with like, hey, you keep hearing release the Snyder Cut. This is what it means, Yeah. And it happened. And then I kind of get to the end of that chapter, and you guys will see it when you get a chance to read it. It's like, now let's find out how they got there. And we go back and trace the whole story. And one of my literary agents who read it was kind of like, I hate books that start at the end. then and tell you what the end is. And I was like, no, I understand your point, but the end of this is most important. Like, I want to start with the fact that they achieved the goal.
Yeah.
And then explain who everybody is and fill in the gaps of how they got there. So I think it reads pretty well in that structure.
No,
Well, coming from a seasoned writer like you, I'll take your word for it.
Yes.
We shall see. I could be completely wrong.
Well, I mean, at least we know with you writing the book, having been as involved as you were, at least we know we're going to get it. We're going to get an accurate account of the events, and history needs that. History needs accuracy when it comes to this kind of stuff, and they need to know that the release the Snyder Cut movement was a force for good. And was there for all the right reasons. So yeah,
I want to throw out one thing too, because I was able to get away from the book for a while, almost a month now at this point, and they were doing copywriting or copy editing on it, and now I've got the final draft back to me, and I've had to spend the last couple of days rereading it, and essentially like line for line.
Basically, you do a first pass on it.
Doing a first pass on it, and I've gotten to the point where I've read certain things in it, and I was like, damn, I got that. That's good. Like, I'm really glad I got that. And oh, good, I'm really glad that's in there, because you live with it for so long, and then you kind of forget all the details. And so the way that the story is still evolving, and the way the big things are still happening and are going to keep happening.
Yes,
I'm really glad that the book so far still doesn't feel like it's dated, and doesn't feel like it can be dated, because no matter what else happens from here on out, it's that story is still that story.
Yes.
And so I hope I captured it. I hope I captured it the right way. And again, I talked to a lot of people over the course of the movement coming together, and I have really good quotes from them that speak to where they were at the time. If we sort of talk to them after the movement happened, I think it would be a different narrative. And so I don't know, man. It's a happy accident. I'm super happy. I'm super happy with the way it played out.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll do it, because look, when you read that chapter at Justice Con, I was like, this is fire. Like, I loved it. Like, and I was like, I'm so sad that this has to go, but I 100% totally understood why you had to change that, because once you wrote the way it was written, now that we had the Snyder Cut was announced, I can understand why you changed it.
But I replaced it with Zach quotes. Okay. So that was like, okay.
Yeah.
If I get more of him in and less of me, all the better.
So let's hit these comments real quick. I agree. Reynolds doesn't fit in Zack Snyder's universe. He's in his own Deadpool universe of fuckery. Okay, Rasha. True. She come all cool, but El Cappy, Zack Snyder would rather use his heat vision to Ryan Reynolds away from the all right.
Another thing about Justice Con that was really fun, when they asked him about using shots that weren't his.
Oh,
he's like, I would burn that to the ground. I would destroy the movie. Like, I love that.
Reynolds would just be such a gimmicky casting, and it's like Zach doesn't do gimmicky.
No, I mean, look at his movies. It's definitely not gimmicky. I mean, they're controversial for a reason, and that's,
right. There's a reason why we're still talking about Man of Steel and BVS after all these years.
Yeah,
he would have cheated a bit and got Jared Leto's Joker in, or worked in things that are like fan service kind of thing. He doesn't do fan service in his films. He does what fits his vision, and putting Ryan Reynolds into, I don't get that.
It just doesn't fit.
Sorry, Garza. I love Garza. He's a great dude. But he's pushing that narrative, and he gives me hell in direct messages, but we'll see.
So I have a question, a technical question about your book.
Yes, sir.
Is Ray Porter going to be reading the audiobook version of your book?
That's who you said you wanted to when you were on the Four Nerds some months ago. So how's it looking?
It's looking really good from this perspective.
Hey.
I've talked to the publishers. They said it's an internal decision on their part whether or not they do an audiobook. So that's up to them. It's not something I can decide. But they know that Ray wants to do it. And I can tell you guys that the other day, Ray reached out to me again, just unsolicited, and was like, hey, what's the status? What's going on with the book? So I was like, don't worry, Ray, we're gonna make it work. So I do need my publishers to sort of commit to it. But again, I don't see why they wouldn't do it, and especially if Ray is interested in doing it.
And plus, Ray's involved, so that's even better.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So the other question I get all the time is whether there's going to be a digital version of it, and there is, as far as I know. I don't know why it's not available
Kindle
on the pre-sale yet, but yeah, there's going to be an ebook version of it. So
Okay.
Nice.
But yeah, Ray and I are talking, and I mean, listen, I'm going to do everything I can in my power to make sure he gets a chance to do it. So
Yeah, that's a dream reader.
it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, the emotional connection to that, you'll feel the emotion of the story in his voice rather than some random reader who doesn't know what he's talking about when he's reading it.
Yeah, you feel like Morgan Freeman or James Earl Jones.
Someone with like a direct connection to the situation, though. That's so great.
Now, the last thing I offered him too was to send him the manuscript at this point, because the manuscript's to the point where I'm sending it out to other media folk to get editorial blurbs for the back cover of it, basically.
Okay, nice.
So it's done and it's going out, and people are starting to read it and send feedback. So I can send it to Ray. I just need to sort of touch base with them in message.
Awesome.
Nice.
But that's coming along. It's coming along.
Wonderful.
This is for Dawson right here. Best take.
Oh gosh, no.
McLovin said, "What up, nerds? What's good, McLovin?
What's up, McLovin?
Fire. Artists are never done or finished as a designer. I can attest to constantly wanting to perfect.
Oh
the
yeah.
story.
Always tweaking.
That's why, like, on my channel, you see all my visual stuff changing all the time because, like, I'm a visual and artistic person. So, like, I see something and I'm just like, I don't like that anymore. Get rid of that. Let's add this in here.
Yeah.
It might be frustrating to my viewers, but just how it be sometimes.
Imagine a filmmaker who has to just live with.
Oh goodness.
So we were just watching a documentary the other day about Scorsese and the making of Goodfellas, and apparently he goes to the premiere of it at the Ziegfeld Theater in Manhattan, and he's sitting next to his editor in his tuxedo at the premiere, and he's watching it. And he's going, oh, you know what we should do is we should do this. And the editor had to be like, Martin, it's done. We're at the premiere.
Yeah,
like, they're watching it right now. Leave it alone.
Yeah, we can't.
Like, it's done. Forget about it. It's like, no, I can't.
We can't change it. This. All right, you guys. Y'all ready for question number 2?
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Would you rather win an Olympic medal, an Academy Award, or a Nobel Peace Prize?
It feels like Nobel Peace Prize has more stature to it. That seems pretty significant.
Yeah.
Olympics, I'm not an athletic person in the least bit. And the Academy Awards, there's so much politics behind that. So I'm sure there's probably just as many politics behind the Nobel Peace Prize. But that seems like a really big one. You get announced as a Nobel Peace Prize winner, I'll take that.
What about you, Ryan?
Maybe I'm going to unite the Snyder Cut factions.
You win.
That would be a feat. Sean, what do you think it would take to unite the Snyder Cut factions? If getting the Snyder Cut wasn't enough to unite the factions, what do you think?
Part 2.
Man, I honestly don't know, because I honestly feel that there's people in the movement who just need something to fight about.
Yeah.
And I think that they might have, maybe that's what lured them to the movement in the first place. I don't doubt that they had some sort of commitment to Zack and his vision, and I don't doubt that they're DC fans. I'm not calling that into question. But if you can't stop and celebrate the fact that you got it, and still nitpick, well, who said what about when, and when did they say, and who liked this, and who, stop. Stop.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is, like, it's just a war of information. I think that's the biggest thing with the factions right now. And I think, because, like, we were talking earlier about Green Lantern, who's going to be Green Lantern in Zack Snyder's Justice League, like, silly things like that will be solved when the movie comes out. Then we'll see, like, okay, yeah, so this person was Green Lantern, not this person, and that'll be definitive. Like, we don't have to rely on some specific person and their information. And so I think information stuff will go to the side. But I think what you're saying here, and I agree with, is that some people will try to find something else. Well, okay, what's going to be in the second one? What's going to be in the second movie? What's going to be in the Batman series? Like, what information is correct? It's a non-stop war of information, but with a Snyder Cut particularly, I think it just, when the movie comes out.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll find out.
I would agree.
Ryan may be quiet.
Yeah, surprisingly.
I agreed. This is
Wow.
hey, Dawson finally said something, profound. So I just
Boot
wanted
him.
to take that in.
Boot him now.
All right, Dawson, I'm about to share this. We looked at this just a little while ago.
Yes.
On the Ryan's stream, but this is
the article, yeah.
Mark Hughes. Did you see this, Sean?
So I just saw that. Yeah, I literally just saw him post that. So what is he saying? Let's read that.
Okay. You want to read it, Dawson? You want me to do it?
Sure, I'll read it. Since it's now public knowledge, I can say some things I have not been able to say before. The amount of money spent on Zack Snyder's Justice League isn't a reflection of his original cut being as incomplete as folks used to claim. It's because new footage is being shot beyond just finishing his cut.
Interesting. Yeah,
Here's what-
an alternate ending. What does he go on to say after that?
It's yours, Dawson.
All right. He said the original Snyder cut we talked about for the past year plus was more than 90% or plus percent complete. I got to scroll down here so I can actually read it.
Yeah.
And did not need tens of millions to get that cut into shape. The higher dollar amount is because the work on the film includes re-editing into individual episodes plus new episodes.
Okay.
For example, there are certain DC characters originally intended to be in JL, but those scenes weren't filmed and it was dropped at the time. Now, however, those things can be added in as well as other scenes, and it all needs different editing into episodes with the right pacing.
Right.
So no, the original, it'll take tens of millions of dollars to finish Snyder Cut, claims were not proven true by the budgeting for Zack Snyder's Justice League. The reason some press haven't claimed we were right all along is because some Warner Brother folks were falsely telling the press no new scenes would be shot. Those Warner Brother folks may have legitimately thought that was true, by the way, because it appears a lot of folks at the studio are still not always sure about what's up, partly because things are changing and in flux a lot, so a lot of folks aren't in the loop on everything. Wow.
Yeah.
That's largely true that studio and public relations people at studios often do not know what's going on, even with projects they are intimately working on. And even right now, I can tell you in the time of COVID, there's so much uncertainty in the industry that people don't know what to tell press folks on a day-to-day basis about major movies. Like if you guys knew how much hand-wringing went on behind the scenes to get Christopher Nolan's Tenet in theaters, whether it was going to get in theaters or not, these are decisions that are made above their pay grade more often than not. Mm-hmm. And the people who are speaking to the press often don't know what they're being told to tell the press.
Yeah.
And that's why information always remains in flux. And that's why whenever everyone was like, it's never coming, it doesn't exist, I was always like, nah, I don't think you need to be as definitive as you're being, because these situations are constantly changing. Mm-hmm. But it's not, but then that's kind of the way that the business moves. And that's kind of the way any business moves. And the minute one person believes something and the situation changes to become something else, that's kind of just the way the entertainment industry moves. And a small faction immediately jumps to a conspiracy theory of they were lying. They were doing this, or they were no, they weren't. They just didn't know. A lot of times people just don't know.
Yeah.
And you don't have to definitively say things. And it's an industry built on quicksand. It changes daily. Often for the good and sometimes for the bad. Yeah. And it's not a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
And one thing that I liked about what he said there was that he talked about how there were scenes that they needed to film that they didn't get to shoot originally, because again, we've heard all the time that Zack Snyder had this original idea for his trilogy, the original outline for the story. And I think we also have heard about the scary idea with Lois Lane and how Warner Brothers came in and they decided, like, okay, we need to cut this down. We need to cut this out. And so there's a lot of things that Zack Snyder had to compromise on, which again relates to Zack Snyder's post on Vero, or I guess comment, or wherever it was, where he said 2017, all compromise, 2021, no compromise.
Yeah.
And so filming those extra scenes with those characters brings a whole lot more meaning to that, showing like, again, like you said, Sean, either it's he's rounding out his story and finishing it off, which I personally don't believe that he is. I don't think any of us really believe that very much. Or on the flip side, it's to, again, have his original version of his first Justice League movie put back into play. And
now those scenes, the scary scenes, and even those things that he teased in the bits that you talked about, always felt like they were going to come to me later in his 5-story arc, though, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, the scary idea was what we're getting. originally the scary idea was not what we were going to get in his, I guess, first the dark side stuff that he talks about in that clip I played earlier. I think that's in like 2 or 3, like one of the other parts of the movie.
Right.
I think.
I'd assume 2, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So, but basically, what I took from that article was just that when it was when it was announced about him, and they said, okay, well, it's going to take this much money to finish it. Everybody was like, see, I told you it wasn't even close to done. No, actually, it was. The money they're spending now is for the additional scenes.
Yeah.
Is that what y'all took from this? The same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, my biggest takeaway from that, whether it's accurate or not, is that he has always been constantly looking at this as a film, and now he has to make it work like a television show.
Yep.
Well, both. He's making it work both ways.
Well, is it true? Isn't it true though that Zach himself pitched the idea of turning it into a miniseries to HBO Max? Wasn't that one of the selling points, that he knew that they were looking for something for subscribers for HBO Max, and he wanted to make this as big of a proposition as possible. So he pitched the idea. So he knew how he was gonna divide the movie and what else he was gonna need and so on.
Well, and I'm thinking he's going to need transitions. Like, I'm thinking he's just looking at all of the footage that he has, and thinking about how he wants to lay it out. And maybe he needs, it could be something as simple as, Ray Fisher or Ben Affleck just giving him a line or 2 of dialogue that would draw a particular episode to a close, and not just feel like an abrupt cutoff because this is a movie and it should be flowing as a movie, but now we're going to make it transition as a TV show with credits and whatnot.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And and plus that could also include horizon shots, or just simply like setting shots of like someone with overlaying audio or something or ADR or something like that.
Yeah. Bookends.
Yeah, exactly.
But in Manhunter too, like it's got to be Martian Manhunter, right?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we've been told that up front.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Pretty much, he did post the storyboard, so
that's amazing.
So, hey, real quick, let me ask you guys, what do you think about Zach posting this yesterday on Vero?
Wow. He's differentiating his vision for the character of Wonder Woman from the version of Wonder Woman that we're going to be getting in Wonder Woman 84.
That's your take.
Because he's showing you.
I think he's
showing you the warrior. Because he's showing you the warrior. So
he was interviewed.
Do what? Say again, Ryan?
Instead of other worlds, like if you bring that graphic up, it should actually be, if we're talking Zack Snyder here, it says, "I've killed things from else worlds."
Yes,
because that's the terminology he used.
Okay.
So
yes.
I'm just saying, maybe that's just like, hey, multiverse. That's your multiverse line.
Okay, Sil.
And with that, let me give you some scoops. I guess I'll start with Sam Benjamin.
All right, let's
all right. That's it.
Let's hit the chat real quick. We'll see who's all in here. Sickness. Let's say. Oh, he's talking to Rasha. My wife said Tenet was fire. Yeah, it was. Rasha's Sickness thanks. I don't.
That brings up something that I actually wanted to ask Sean about.
Okay.
In regards to Tenet.
Yeah.
So we saw that. I mean, of course, a Christopher Nolan movie like Tenet. I mean, have you seen it yet? I'm assuming you've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think of the movie first off?
I think it's amazing. I thought it was great. I really want to see it again because I feel like I'll understand it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was his most accessible movie, honestly, because I kind of at least understood what he was trying to do. But I think that there's a lot of things that he layers into the first half and the first 2/3 that will make more sense once you kind of figure out everything that's going through.
I remember when I saw it with my wife, one of the first scenes where that woman was teaching him about inversion, and she was saying like, "Don't try to understand it." So I was like, "Okay, I'm not gonna try to understand this, Christopher Nolan. I take the hints." But my main question,
you needed him to kind of come at the beginning, sort of like a prologue, and it's like, guys, just understand. You're not gonna understand a damn thing. Just enjoy.
It's a good impression, man.
and kind of with that, the question with that is we've seen a lot of reports of Tenet, of course, not being as financially successful as they would hope as far as it coming to theaters when theaters are starting to open up. I guess, what do you think that means for movies in the theaters going forward over the next, say, maybe 6 months?
Oh, it's terrifying. Everything is moving. Like that news, was it just today of Marvel pushing their entire slate back?
Yeah.
Everything is getting out of 2020. And I don't see it starting up. Like I'm looking at kind of like March 2021 before anybody feels remotely comfortable going back. So there's two things. A, Tenet did okay, but didn't make a ton of money. And then
didn't
Disney
make Mulan
tried
numbers.
Well, Disney tried Mulan on their premium service, and if that did well, then I think you would have seen Black Widow and maybe Death on the Nile going there.
Yeah.
Right.
But the fact that they moved both of those movies shortly after says to me it didn't do well at all.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know the numbers because similar to Netflix, they're not reporting anything.
Sean, don't you think though it didn't do well because Disney made the announcement that that Mulan was shortly after they announced that Mulan was going to be a pay-per-view kind of event, but they announced that it would be coming to Disney Plus for everybody.
Oh yeah, within a couple
December.
In December.
So if you just wait till December, you're getting it. You're going to get it as part of your Disney Plus subscription. So you really have no incentive to buy it
for sure
early.
Unless you're starving for content, or you were just dying to see that version. In that sense, I don't think Mulan is the best gauge of whether the premium service works or not.
Right. They need something bigger.
They need Black Widow. They need Black Widow to see if a Marvel movie will attract people to a premium. And similarly, Nolan's great and he's got an amazing fan base, but those movies look confusing and they're hard to sell. I don't think Tenet was the right movie to be the canary in the coal mine to determine whether people want to go back to theaters or not. I mean, I honestly think, and I'm not just saying this, Wonder Woman 1984 would have been that movie. Like that feels like the movie that people would have risked.
I
going out
agree.
to see.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
But I also think that the model right now, the industry should be having a model right now where they do theatrical release, but they do paid VOD, not December, but I'm talking like 3 to 4 weeks after. Give the people a chance to see it in the theaters, but if you don't feel comfortable going to the theaters or the theaters aren't open by you, then have it come to paid VOD in a month afterwards and start making your money back.
Yeah, I think two things killed Mulan. I think number one, like Zod said, it's you buy it $30 now, you wait 3 months, and then you've got it's free. And then also it didn't get very good legs. It didn't get good word of mouth. And most people like myself that saw it didn't see it as a Disney film. It was just kind of off-putting. It wasn't. It wouldn't have performed very well, and that's why you didn't see anything.
They would have been better off doing like a brand new Mulan animated sequel, and putting that out like that if they wanted to try and test audiences, because historically those are going to do better anyway. So.
It makes me wonder if it was like Lion King or Beauty and the Beast, if they just have bigger built-in audiences. I'm not quite sure how many people were clamoring to see the live-action Mulan, and I actually thought it was pretty good, but it wasn't the movie to get everybody to come to premium.
No Mushu, man.
No Mushu. Damn right.
That's a big one. That's a deal. That was a deal breaker for a lot of people. No joke.
Oh, hey, right here.
You hear it mentioned. I mean, but the thing is, you see it mentioned in a lot of reviews too. So obviously, that's something that held it back.
Yeah, I have yet to see it, but I did get a glimpse of one of the scenes on my Twitter feed, and unfortunately, I usually don't do this in movies, but unfortunately, this scene put me away from watching it. It was a scene at the end of the movie where this guy tosses up an arrow, Mulan jumps off the wall, kicks the arrow into the bad guy's chest, and I watched it. And I was just like,
"Spoiler alert!"
Yeah,
sorry. Thanks a lot, Dawson.
Oh my God, calm down, Ryan. But I just sat there after seeing that scene on Twitter, and I was just like, I'm okay. I'm fine for a while.
Yeah.
Have you? So you must never have kicked an arrow before.
I've never. It's physics. Physics is a thing that exists. So no.
Stephen Amell's kicked arrows before, hasn't he?
Yeah, right. Isn't that right?
That's also the CW. So I mean, I like the first couple seasons of Arrow, but it's the CW. So let's be honest.
All right, Ross, plot change isn't right. Additional content. I can't remember. What is she talking about right there? Roster, what are you talking about? Batman discovering the parademon nest was scary and supposed to be in the first film.
Ooh.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's
Please
part of
have
what's
that in
going to
there.
be shot, I think.
Yes.
I would love that because there's footage out there of like the stuntmen doing the scene and the fight for that. Like they had somebody hanging upside down and like attacking. I think Richard Citrone was doing that in the video. But yeah, that'd be way awesome.
I still haven't finished this. You still haven't finished Inception? El Capi? Inception is fire.
How long's it been? Like 12 years?
He must have fell asleep.
He keeps falling asleep at the same scene. That's why he can't get through it.
I would have paid $50 for Black Widow. I was only willing to pay $6 for Mulan. 50?
I mean, I can understand the $6 for Mulan, but $50?
Yeah.
Black Widow? Holy crap.
Wow.
I thought Sickness. I thought Tenet was amazing too, even though I haven't seen it.
Hey, what?
It was amazing, even though I haven't seen
it. Sickness, you tripped.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe they saw it in reverse.
It's inversion.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay,
He hasn't seen it yet.
Oh, Nicotina, thanks for reminding me. See, my overlay.
Oh yeah, here you go.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. Wow.
Oh, now we're on a show.
So,
now I feel appreciated.
Sean, the first time you talked to Zach for the book, was it like, I know it was before the announcement, so like, did you get any, or was it after the announcement?
I got to talk to him at the Army of the Dead set. I went to the Justice League set, but the first time I got him to sit down for the book proper was after the announcement.
Oh, okay. It was after. Okay. So you
A couple days after.
And that's where he divulged all this other, because I remember did you tweet out in like February? You said something about what did you tweet? I can't remember what it was. Something that had it was kind of like the date when I guess
was it Remember?
Yeah.
The 15th of February?
Yeah.
So that was due to the screening that he had of the footage.
Okay.
That was the screening that he did for the HBO Max executives. And that was the first indication I got from the people who I talked to that was coming down the pipe, and that's kind of where it was heading.
Yeah.
So based on who was in that screening and based on what came out of that screening, that's where I was pretty convinced from that point on that if it came, I still wasn't determined to initially come at that point. It was also very early days, but I kind of came to the conclusion that if it was happening, it was going to go to HBO Max.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I thought that day would be pretty significant.
Yeah, it turned out it was. Hey, Dawson Nicotina says, "How dare you ruin a movie, Dawson? Didn't you know that kicking arrows?"
Shut up, Nicotina. Go back to your tent.
Batman was. Oh,
Just kidding.
Batman was good. He says not to mind. So, the book releases February 15th, right? Am I correct in that?
Yes, sir.
So is that what? I don't know if you can say or not. Is there any correlation between that and when the thing is happening?
So not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I know my publishers wanted to be out before the Snyder Cut came.
Mm-hmm.
We've been hearing Q1 of 2021, which is January, February, or March.
Yeah.
We picked that date. It's my son's birthday, by the way, which I thought was
nice.
hilarious. And I had nothing to do with picking that. But that when they told me the date, I was like, yeah, that's.
I was like, yes, you did. You made him.
And yet at the same time, yeah. And yet at the same time, Sundays are perfect for HBO television.
Oh yeah, that's
so the 14th would be a Sunday. The 15th would be a Monday, the day the book comes out. 214 would be the day before the book comes out, and we know that 214 is a very important number in the Snyder Cut movement.
Yes.
So it all feels like it's just lining up beautifully. And I kind of thought Zach was going to make an announcement of Fandom, and I'm bummed he didn't, because I thought we were getting the date, and I don't know what's holding it up, to be honest with you. But the streaming services do sort of keep their release dates. Sure. Yeah, I guess. I guess
just to make sure that they have enough time to get the footage completed and hit their deadlines. I'm sure that's probably what's holding that up.
So, Sean, do you feel like there are things in the book that really should not? Like, do you feel like there are certain things in this book that nobody should read until they've watched Zack Snyder's Justice League?
That's really hard to say because I know that one of the toughest things to do with this book was to make it entertaining for you guys who know every step of the way. Mm-hmm. And for people who are legitimately picking up the book because they're like, what the hell is this Snyder Cut thing that everyone's been talking about? Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of information in there for people who are casual viewers, I think. It doesn't spoil anything in terms of what you're going to be getting from the Snyder Cut when it comes. However, it does a lot of the research and sort of in terms of putting together the amount of detective work that you all did to figure out what's coming. And it's like basically, combing Zach's Vero and trying to speculate beyond every single post that he's ever put up. Just reporting on
the leaf.
That are being
the
given.
Leaf means that's coming in December 31st.
Yeah.
He used a question mark. That means the Riddler's in it.
Bicycle. Let's not forget about the bicycle.
So all of those things can lead to information, but we have to determine what's a spoiler and what's not a spoiler.
Right.
Okay. So some other news that dropped today. Let me see what your thoughts are on this, Sean. Of course, the rest of the panel too. I think we've talked about it already, but this here. What do you think about this?
Peacemaker.
What do you think?
That to me, from a Snyder Cut perspective, is really, really, really good news. Mm-hmm. Because it's showing that HBO Max has an eye toward developing original and new DC-themed content. And it says to me that the door is wide open, that as long as Zach wants to continue, he's going to get the opportunity to do it on HBO Max. Like HBO Max they want to establish themselves as a home for original, offbeat, Elseworld type content like this. And so that I was very encouraged seeing that they're going ahead with something like that.
So do you think really it's a prequel or a sequel? Or, is it continuing the story of Peacemaker?
I've heard it's a prequel. One of the trades wrote today that it's a prequel because I actually was going to make a joke on Twitter saying, "Oh, I guess he survives."
Right. That's exactly why. Because
the twist is that he dies midway through the movie, so that's why they're giving you the prequel now.
that could be true, also. Yeah, it sounds like a prequel, and I got to go to that set. I can't talk about that set yet. I got to go to that set. And I can tell you that we got to interview Cena and he got to talk about that character. Oh. And I guess I can say this at the very least, although I'm under embargo, he was having an absolute blast. Like,
I would hope so.
Oh my God.
Hey, we're doing your show too. Damn it.
Yeah. No,
I was done with this crap.
He loves the character. And so I'm not surprised necessarily that if Gunn is getting an opportunity to move forward with another one of those characters, that's the one he's choosing.
That's a really good perspective that you have about it, because when I first heard the news, I thought to myself, like, well, I haven't seen the movie yet, so I don't know if I'm excited to even see this. But the way you said it, how it shows that HBO Max is not afraid to simply just make original DC content, even of obscure characters like Peacemaker. Like, there's a lot of DC fans out there who don't know who Peacemaker is. They don't know who the guy is because they follow the basic characters.
John Cena.
Well, well, how do you know? You can't see him. But you know what I mean? Like, the HBO Max is willing to do something like that for that kind of character. It just shows that willingness to do more. So I like your perspective on that.
They're also doing that Gotham City show based around the Reeves universe too, right?
Right.
Yeah, it feels like they are setting up. Look, they have to. All these streaming services have to invest in original content. Yes. And it looks like HBO Max is recognizing the fact that they have a DC brand, and they need to develop original stuff around it. So I'm very encouraged by that.
And I keep thinking to myself that, the way the comic book industry is going right now, how it's kind of in a decline and how things are really tough for comic books, I keep thinking to myself that streaming platforms are going to start becoming the new home of original stories for these comic book characters. Like Disney Plus has the Marvel characters, HBO Max has the DC characters.
Mandalorian, too.
Yeah, Mandalorian, of course. And you're going to see a lot of those things transition from being more so comic book-like things. Like, for example, maybe 10 years ago, you would have never guessed in your wildest dreams that, or any comic book would not have guessed that Peacemaker would be on TV ever.
Yeah.
Like no one would have guessed that 10 years ago.
You're not going to Disney Plus me.
How about 5 years ago that a Watchmen limited series would win the Emmys?
Right.
Because by bringing that universe back to life.
That's true. So
the TV, the line that used to separate TV talent from movie talent is first it blurred and now it's gone. And now you get people who were fighting to get films made on a regular basis, bringing their talents to live action shows. Like Jon Favreau is driving the boat on The Mandalorian. Mm-hmm. Damon Lindelof doing Watchmen, Zach coming over and doing a 4-part miniseries. That's the new normal now.
Yeah, it is. So let me ask you, I saw last week where you had a video where you talked about the Ray Fisher stuff and you explained it, really broke it down. So, what are your thoughts for people who didn't see that, like as it deals with Ray Fisher and things that have came out and what the future might hold for that, especially that article we just read that was on the Hollywood Reporter was really saying something about that, where Zack Snyder's about to do this additional photography with the Ray Fisher stuff like looming.
There was a huge the differentiation that was made in that article that I thought was the most important was that Zack's reshoots are taking place with Warner Media and HBO Max.
Yes.
Because I think people need to really understand that Ray's issue is with Warner Brothers Pictures, and not with the larger corporation, not with Warner Media. And that he's putting some trust and faith in Warner Media to do the right thing by the people who have worked at the film division and did wrong by him. And one of the issues is that the people who Ray has the biggest problems with are not necessarily there anymore. John's is still in place in some capacity and is involved a little bit more on the TV side. It's almost like he's drifting back over to the TV side. Joss obviously isn't part of it anymore. But I think he has a TV show coming to HBO Max. He has a TV show coming. I don't know where it's going to, though. So I don't know, man. That whole situation, it's a horrible situation. And if it's really going to all hit the fan, it's going to get really ugly for everybody. You're going to have to. The reason that it has so much credence to me is that Momoa stepped up. When Momoa threw his weight behind him, I thought, oh, okay, something really bad happened. And if he's willing to put his neck on the line too, then then the story is going to get out, and some people are going to be put in really uncomfortable situations.
Yeah, because like a lot of people have formed this narrative that Ray Fisher, since it was his first big movie, that he didn't understand how a normal environment of a set was. That was their big argument. It's just show business. He wasn't used to people telling him what to do. He was more used to Zack Snyder's way of doing things, which is different. And then, like you said, with Jason Momoa stepping up, that provided more of a picture of no, it wasn't just Ray Fisher that had a problem. This is not simply a situation of someone misunderstanding Hollywood. This is straight up something messed up that happened.
Yeah.
And a seasoned actor like Jason Momoa would know. He would know the difference.
For sure.
Well, I mean, the same thing with True Detectives. He went and worked on that. He didn't have a problem with the director, or any of the staff. There's nothing that has come out about that. So he has worked under other people who have a little bit different business etiquette than Joss Whedon and John Berg and Jeff Johns. Jeff Johns does still have intellectual properties, intellectual rights to a lot of the things, and that's why Hamada was trying to hey, can we not do anything about this so that we can move forward without having to go through all this red tape? And unfortunately for Hamada, he's going to have to go and cut some red tape.
He's probably going to have to. And again, I feel a little bit bad for him because he's not responsible for this.
Yeah, he came into this post.
Yeah.
This didn't happen on his watch. And I can tell you guys something.
Oh.
That the last few articles that we wrote on Cinema Blend about this, we've been in touch with people. How can I say this?
Oh, take your time, man.
Just blurt it out.
Yeah, we don't want you to get in trouble.
No.
So
Yeah.
People who have been extremely quiet about this situation for the entire time are starting to push back on the narrative. which means they're not going to let Ray just tell his story, if that makes any sense.
Pushing back as far as trying to silence his story from coming out, or trying to
put
clarify
their story. Yeah, they're trying to clarify elements of it.
Yeah.
And in the grand scheme, there are elements that aren't as important, and so they're easy to clarify. Let's put it that way. But it's more significant that these folks in particular are choosing now to come out and even clarify any elements of the story, because the approach so far has been hands off, no word. But they're starting to speak out, and that makes me think, from just having reported on stuff a lot of times, like when you get no comment, radio silence, you think, okay, well, you're trying to get blood from a stone. But now you're not getting no comment. Now you're getting, oh, I kind of do want to talk about this, or talk about this. And I'm like, oh, that tends to become a little bit of a, first it's a drip, and then it's a drip, and then it's a drip, and then it's information flowing. And so we'll see how that shakes out. But I think, and I've been saying this to a good number of people who have been asking me, this is going to get a lot uglier before it gets any better.
Yeah.
Like, this is a bad story.
Yeah.
This is a bad story.
Yeah. I mean, especially when Ray, said himself that, that Warner Brothers took that position and took it to a different level.
Right.
Then he was even, he was like, wow, I didn't think you guys would sink that low. I guess I'm going to have to meet you, somewhere, and we're going to have to dig a little deeper.
And so, Ray is also putting some potential work on the line. Like, you hear that he was supposed to be in the Flash movie, and now he is coming back and doing the reshoots for Justice League. So if he's willing to risk that, that's pretty, because listen, I think a lot of people put up with a lot of stuff in Hollywood because it means, you're going to get to keep working, essentially. And for Ray to put his foot down and say, like, I'm not going to keep putting up with this, means that he's taking the high road, and it's going to hopefully not cost him too bad, but it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. And but I think at the same time, he'll end up with people who respect what he did and want to back him later down the line.
And he'll always have work on HBO Max, clearly.
As long as Warner Media continues to back him.
Yes.
That's another way that Cyborg, I can see Cyborg continuing in like a 5-part HBO Max series, before I saw it becoming a movie at Warner Brothers Pictures, because maybe that bridge has been burned. Who knows? Listen,
no. I think they'll continue to gut out Warner Pictures and just Warner Brothers in general, and just sort of have that regime. The people who are releasing these narratives, own up to to that sort of mentality, or I guess unethical way of trying to smear campaign and all that. So I think that that'll open the door to sort of drain the swamp for Warner Brothers. If just using that type of verbiage, hopefully that happens. And,
I envision a great moment in the Flash movie where Flash opens a portal to a multiverse where it's just the Snyderverse. And Zach can continue that way. It's like, oh, you opened up this portal, you drop Ben into it, great, let's keep going on HBO Max.
There you go.
That will be fire. That's fire.
That'd be fantastic.
That's
Fire.
Hi, Billy Baldwin.
Yo, Backdraft is fire. It's a whole movie.
It's fire. So is what is that other one with Tommy Lee Jones and
Backdraft?
I
know which one you're talking about.
Blown Away.
Blown Away.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I'm sure they have a fire quote in there.
I'm sure they do.
Great movie.
Somewhere.
Like what's his name? Robert De Niro in this one. So Sean, man, real quick, for those who don't know, how did you get your start? Like with Cinema Blend, and like how did you come into?
I started writing for the web basically when the web was coming up. I started like 98, 99 in that time. I was a film geek who loved everything and wanted to start pursuing a career in writing about film. And people were trying to break into newspapers and go that route. And in 98, 97, 98, like that whole sort of period is when a ton of websites were starting up and everybody needed content. They needed people to write for them. And first few gigs were, just for the byline kind of thing. And I parlayed that into a couple of the paying outlets and just kept climbing the ranks. And it's funny, like, the only way you can get better at writing is to just keep writing.
Keep writing.
So I got into a situation where I was onto the press list for different screenings and just would come back and do all my reviews. And I just kept following either the print format or the web and watched the web grow.
Did you ever write anything for comingsoon.net?
Never wrote for Coming Soon. I wrote for Fandango for years.
Yeah.
I wrote for a website called filmcritic.com for a while.
Here's the question, though. Can you do the Fandango?
No, I cannot. Not at all.
Sorry, I just had to.
Is that on the TikTok? Is that what the kids are doing?
Well, show them, Dawson. Show them.
Yeah, Dawson.
I was just quoting Bohemian Rhapsody. I figured everybody else would get that.
So I've just been lucky that way. I've just sort of come up through the ranks and applied my stupid geeky knowledge. I always make fun of the fact that I have grown up a comic book geek and a film geek, and I cannot believe that I've been able to do this during what I consider to be the golden age of comic book movies. Like it's better now and the best now than it ever has been. And so it's crazy to have this knowledge where you go into work and they're like, what's the relevance of, Batman's interpretation in The Dark Knight Rises? Like, how does that translate to Zack Snyder's, cut of, and I get to sit down and process all this and turn it into a thing. It's still very mind blowing.
Master of None, what's good? What's good?
Hey,
Henry Cavill is trending right now. Check. What's he trending for? What's he trending for?
Well, assuming the recent news.
Yeah, what you think about that, Sean? About the Henry Cavill, this multi-picture. It's a multi-picture deal, right?
I don't believe it necessarily. I mean, it could be, but. Listen, I like to wait until either the trade's reported or I hear it from someone involved with Cavill.
No, that's totally understandable.
I think he's trending now because Enola Holmes just dropped on Netflix, honestly.
That might be what it is. Which I hadn't
yeah.
Have you seen it, Sean?
I haven't yet, no. I'll check it out this weekend. I like Millie Bobby Brown. She's fun.
She's great. She's great.
And I've heard Cavill's really good as Sherlock in that movie, so I'll definitely check it out for that.
Say what?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's more people out there than Robert Downey Jr. nerdy.
You guys got a thing going on.
One of these days, I'm just gonna reach out my screen and just grab him
Yeah, that technology is gonna come out one of these days.
I know, right?
Be careful what you wish for.
All of a sudden, the ring won't be such a joke anymore.
All right, y'all ready for question number 3?
I don't know. I hope so. I hope so.
If you were arrested with no explanation, what would your friends and family assume you did?
Probably theft.
They thought you.
Okay. Yeah, some type of theft. Because I like to.
Sean is a known klepto.
I like to plot elaborate schemes. Like, that's fun.
Oh my gosh, you and my father-in-law would get along so well. My father-in-law and sister-in-law will be just driving down the road and they'll see a bank and they'll be like, hey, look at that. How would you break into that bank?
How would you break into that bank? Like, I love the Ocean's movies. Those guys.
That thought has never crossed my mind in any building I've ever been. I've never thought, how would I break into here? Because I'm such a rules guy.
Yes, and my wife is such a rules person also too.
What would people think of you, Dawson? Like, if you were in jail, what would they think you did? Like,
yeah,
did you swear too often?
Tax evasion.
Tax evasion.
That's probably what it ended up being.
What about you, Ryan? What would they think?
Murder.
Oh wow!
Wow! All right, the big one.
Yeah. What about you, Zod? What was it?
Not even getting an explanation. Just like
accepted
Why would I have a psychopath?
Yeah.
By the way, I know where you live, Dawson.
Dang it.
Probably bootlegging
Actually, do have
movies
that.
or something.
Oh yeah, bootlegging movie.
Piracy. It's a crime.
Bootleg.
Oh man. Yeah, my family probably thought I jumped on somebody, so they, he's out there fighting and stuff. But
Yeah, there you go.
all right, so look on the show, Sean. I try to remember on every episode. I do a movie shout out, and I just talk for a little bit about a movie that I love, and everybody else's thoughts on the movie. So this week's is Super 8. Do you guys remember Super 8?
Yeah. Is that J.J. Abrams?
Yeah, man, your boy.
Yeah,
JJ.
I remember that.
Thoughts on Super 8, Sean?
Oh, it's wonderful. It's a little too much of a Spielberg homage.
Yeah.
It's him really trying to do his Spielberg, but he does a good Spielberg. I'm not saying he doesn't, but JJ can do JJ a little bit better. But it's good. The kids are really good. It's one of those ones, like, it's kind of funny. I've got two boys. They, at different stages, got into horror. They wanted to watch horror movies. And that was a good one to pull off the shelf because it's got some scary elements to it.
Yeah.
It's not too terrifying. You can get away with a lot of it. And I love any movie about kids who want to make movies. Like, that's just phenomenal. So all that's great.
Yeah. What'd you think about it, Ryan? Your boy J.J. Abrams?
To be honest with you, I don't recall too much of the movie. I've seen it. I just don't recall. It wasn't that memorable for me.
He's blocked so much of J.J. Abrams out of his head that he
Ever
just
since
can't
Star
recall.
Wars, I'm like,
You know what? I'm
done.
with you. I'm with you, Ryan. I'm with you on that. J.J.
I mean,
Abrams movies are kind of a blur.
I'll let him
You
give me
see
a little
'em and then
JL
they
dark, but
What if he got to
than
make
that.
his Superman movie, though?
it depends on the story.
God, no.
I mean, I wouldn't want a Superman movie with nothing but mystery boxes.
not
Yeah,
not that flyby script. Just not that flyby script. Oh my God.
Wow. Someone's got hate for that. All right.
But I'll watch his JL dark stuff. We'll see what happens.
Oh yeah.
Dang right you will.
What's up? Oh, they're talking to each other. Please check my
I
please
actually watched Super 8 recently. I'm trying to remember where exactly. I think it was like a couple months ago. Someone had it on at their house and I just watched it.
Oh,
But it's
up,
definitely
Master
it's almost like a less silly modern day ET.
Yeah,
Which-
I'll give you that one. Yeah.
Which I mean, with more advanced graphics and visuals and everything, I liked it quite a bit. I also really think it's the little kid made movie that they make at the end with the zombies is pretty fun to just sit back and watch. Like, because I remember when I was little, me and my brothers would make some like videos. Like, we even made one where we were like making fun of like Chinese like warrior movies where one encounters the other and like mouth dubs like, "I know who you are. I'm going to kill you." So like it was very reminiscent of those times we did making those things. So I thought it was a good movie. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I did. I like Super 8. So look, he said, Bat Dance, it's funny how both faces of major superhero franchises have now played Sherlock Holmes. Yeah.
That's a good point.
I don't know.
Well-
would you call Henry the face of the DCEU or Ben?
I would say Henry
You'd say
because
Henry?
Ben is well, they're both controversial. Yeah, I mean they're both controversial, but Ben is confirmed to be coming back. Fuck, I'd still say Henry because he's Superman. Even though Batman is a more popular character on screen and in video games and just merchandise and all that.
Yeah, overall, yeah.
But Superman is I mean, he's just so much more iconic than Batman. I hold Superman up higher than Batman, Dawson.
I'd say in the all right, whatever, Ryan.
You're gonna have a word of contention.
Okay. But I think in the eyes of the general public, the face of the DCEU would either be Jason Momoa or Gal Gadot. In the general public, of course, the Snyder Cut movement it's more towards like Henry Cavill or Ben Affleck because the Snyder Cut movement we love their versions of the characters. But in the general public, you've definitely more Jason Momoa. But it's interesting because you've had two Marvel actors, Benedict Cumberbatch and Robert Downey Jr., who have played Sherlock Holmes, and then Henry Cavill. So now we just need either Jason Momoa or Ben Affleck to play Sherlock Holmes. We got the perfect.
No,
Or
they're
Ezra
gonna
Miller.
let Gal Gadot play Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
I'd watch
Oh,
that.
there you go.
Or Chris Pine.
Look, Sickles agrees with Ryan. He said murder. That's what I was gonna say.
Yes.
I like Super 8. It was all right. El Cappy, El Cappy.
What is Super 8?
Yeah. Come on, Zod Rider. We all know you're a closeted J.J. Abrams fan.
No, man, I checked out with J.J. Abrams when Star Trek Into Darkness came out. I've never been able to forgive him for Into Darkness.
I liked that movie.
This is what he's talking about right here.
Fire.
Zach's already built around Henry Superman, so he's facing that. Okay.
Right.
I could deal with that.
I can see JL restoring him to the top of the pyramid, essentially. I think it's going to be a way more of a Superman focused story.
Right. It's going to be a redemption story for both Zach and Superman.
The rise, fall, and redemption of a hero.
100%.
Yep. So you guys, got anything else?
Oh, the fourth question?
Do you want a fourth question?
Yeah, let's do it.
I
missed the first one, kind of.
How many slices of pizza can you eat in one sitting?
Depends on the company.
The whole pizza.
Wait. Of a large pizza or a medium pizza?
Doesn't matter.
What do you normally get?
Extra dough.
I'm going to say 3.
3?
Yeah. After 3, I just hate myself.
Yeah,
That's never a good thing.
Okay, I can eat 5 slices.
Yeah,
I'm a pizza connoisseur. I will eat pizza. Listen, I love pizza so much that
he orders DoorDash on every stream.
It'll be like, oh my God, pizza. I got this pizza place by me, and it's just, oh my God, it's fantastic.
See, it depends on the pizza restaurant for me. Like if it's Pizza Hut, I can only have like 2 because Pizza Hut pizza fills you up so fast.
Pizza Hut isn't even real.
Yeah.
Pizza. Pizza Hut's like play pizza.
Probably put pineapple on it too, for God's sakes.
Oh, no.
Pineapple's delicious.
Little Caesars, though. Little Caesars. You can almost eat.
Caesars.
I love
Taco
Little
Bell with
Caesars.
pizza.
Hey, Taco Bell's amazing. You shut your mouth, Ryan.
You shut your mouth, Ryan.
But Little Caesars, I can almost eat the whole box of a large one because Little Caesars aren't as filling.
These are bad chain pizzas, though. You got to find like a local pizza.
Yeah, like a local, truly Italian pizza place.
Yeah.
Oh my God, off the hook.
Okay, so in that case, maybe 3.
Nothing that has like commercials on TV.
Oh yeah, no. I agree with you, Sean. Totally.
People rat on Little Caesars way too much.
Like the place I get it from is this place called Mama and Me. It's this little Italian hole in the wall pizza restaurant. Oh my God.
See, I remember growing up, we would go to the swimming pool in my local area, and we would get Little Caesars. And man, the crazy bread and the Little Caesars pizza combined. Oh man, it's great stuff. The crazy bread. Have you guys had the crazy bread?
Yeah, I have.
Unfortunately, yeah.
It's fire.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't care what Ryan says. It's fire.
Hey, I'm not the only one over here, buddy. You're on a lonely island eating your Little Caesars.
Poor taste.
Hey man,
Little Caesars. Little Caesars is like that. It's just as bad as Domino's.
Whoa, hey, Domino's is good too, man.
Hey, I'll do Domino's over pizza.
Papa John's though.
Pizza
Papa
Hut.
John's with that garlic sauce.
Oh God, Papa John's, their tomato sauce. is too
Papa
sweet.
John's, the only thing they have going for them is that garlic sauce.
Ugh.
I can't believe what I'm hearing.
Dawson,
The
I'm with
pizza
you.
itself is almost like plastic to me.
But pizza is it's amazing.
Dawson, I'm gonna guess Dawson's from like a Midwest state. Are you from like a Midwest state?
I lived a lot in the Midwest, Colorado, South Dakota, and Iowa. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Those are places that aren't necessarily known for their pizzas. So chains are, I get it. Chains are a thing. That's okay.
I
That's
don't
all right,
live
man.
there anymore. I live
Yeah.
on the East Coast. I lived in LA. I lived everywhere, but
You
Midwest,
come to
yeah.
Illinois and spend some
You
time
go to
in
Taco Bell in every
Chicago,
state.
and I'll get you some really good pizza, Dawson. You'll be a changed man.
I'm pretty sure I've almost been in every state. Like at this point, goodness gracious, I moved like 26 times in my life. Goodness,
Dude, I'm with you,
I
Dawson.
feel insulted, man.
I'm with you, Dawson, man, on the Little Caesars. I can feel you on the Little Caesars. It's
Well, looky here. Ooh, it's fire. Ooh.
Somebody has good taste.
Jai.
You can taste it. So where does the cardboard end and the pizza begin on a Little Caesars?
With your non-functioning taste buds, Ryan.
Uh-oh, here it is. Yeah. It says you could start a war by asking about. Yeah, you. Probably,
don't do that.
That's that.
No.
Yeah. I want that Nightmare movie. I want to see Henry Cavill's evil Superman. That Frontiers.
Evil Superman.
Yes, that is a thing.
Is he
Ryan.
talking? He said, "What is Frontiers Land?"
He's talking about Momoa because Momoa was the
Frontiersman.
frontiersman.
Oh, okay.
Is that the one where
Oh.
it's like a blind society?
No,
that's called. I think that show was called Seeing or I
Sight.
don't know, Sight or something like that. It
has something to do with vision. Yeah.
it's on Apple.
There you
I
go.
don't know.
Brian's got it
Vision.
right.
Oh yeah,
Little
that's right.
Caesar sucks.
Where's he at? I had to eat a whole pizza. Let's see, Aurelio's in Chicago, summer best pizza ever.
That's good.
Meatballs, pizzas.
Let's hear from the chat. Who likes Little Caesars besides ACS and Dawson over here?
Well, nobody else matters.
Yeah.
Oh!
I'm just kidding. I'm just
Canadian.
bitter.
Don't subscribe to Nimwa.
What do we got? What do we got, Ryan? What do we got? We got Dawson here.
I'm just bitter.
I don't have it,
I'm
man.
just
I don't
bitter.
have- It says pineapple on pizza is Canadian, eh? Know your role and shut your.
Sorry.
Domino's sucks. Yeah, Domino's isn't that fabulous.
There is one place that I ate at in Iowa. It had this chicken
Little
bacon.
Caesars is awful.
Hey, shh. I'm trying to tell a story, Ryan. But there was a place in Iowa that sold this chicken bacon ranch pizza that had a bunch of lettuce on it, chicken and ranch sauce, and
So it was like a taco pizza.
no, it was chicken bacon ranch, and had bacon and but it was that stuff was good. That stuff was really good. It was just like a non-chain. It was just a very small in town place. Oh man, I love that place so much. They had really good subs too. Oh man. See, I eat at more than chain restaurants, guys.
Okay, it's time for dinner.
Yeah, you hungry. You hungry like Rasha is. Rasha says, I'm hungry now. You're absolutely right. I'm starving. We have a place called Pizza Unlimited that makes excellent. Don't have pizza. Nice. Little Caesars. Nah, Nicotina.
It's trash.
Little Caesars is pretty high, man.
It's trash.
It's like, see,
Don't ruin your stomach, guys.
That's the man who doesn't like Logan.
$5 pizza.
Wasn't
No bueno.
who was what was the pizza place that was doing the promotion for Justice League? Wasn't there a pizza place where they did promotion for Justice League?
Wasn't Little Caesars.
I think it was either, you know what I think? I think it was Domino's, if I'm not mistaken.
She said
probably.
Nicotina. Why did you say that name?
Because I think the Domino's had the Justice League on the boxes. I think it was
Justice
Batman.
League pizza.
Justice.
I thought it was Papa John's. It might have been.
Oh.
Might have been. Oh yeah, it
Oh,
might have
yeah.
been.
I thought it was, but I don't know.
Let me see.
Papa John's makes
She
sense.
says sickness C. Round table is way better.
Let me see.
Now we're just here talking about pizza,
It
and just
says
starving
pizza- it says
ourselves.
Pizza Hut Justice League.
Was it?
I think
Pizza
they-
Hut?
I think they just said he said Pizza Hut, so I don't know.
Oh man,
I remember it, but I don't remember which one it was.
Yeah, I
7-Eleven
remember a pizza place
Oh, come on,
promoting
man.
it, but I can't remember.
I already have a hard time with Pizza Hut, so that just puts the nail right in the coffin for me. So
There you
goodbye, Pizza Hut.
Well, we have to remember that it was Taco Bell.
Pizza Hut also
Taco
did
Bell
the Dark
that
Knight
won
Rises.
it was Taco Bell that won the food wars, not the fast food wars, not pizza.
That's
Let's
right.
see.
That's right. Ryan, what are you doing over there?
I'm looking at the pizza boxes.
Yeah, that's what I figured he was doing.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, whatever pizza place promoted it had no idea it was Justice League. Yeah. All right, you guys. It's looking like it's about time to wrap this up.
You were hungry.
Fire.
Yeah, I am hungry now. Talking about
Yeah,
pizza.
me too.
Wrap up this fire. So let's conclude. Ryan, you got some final thoughts?
Oh yeah, hey, if you haven't gotten one, grab them while they last. That's what's up, baby. Get the stone.
Hey, put the
I'll put the link. Yeah, I'll put the link.
Put the link in the comments, man.
Yeah, I've gotten over 20, somewhere under 30 so far. People have gotten this so far. 100% of the proceeds go to afsp.org. I get no money for this stuff, but it is a good way for you to stand by Ray Fisher. and address your support. Just take a photo of it, send it over to me on Twitter at Zeverfett. I'll put your picture with the others, and I'm gonna do a little montage and send that over to Ray, who has retweeted this very T-shirt. So he is aware that they are out there and is aware that people have gotten them.
Is he gonna get one? That is.
Will he get one? Maybe he has his original. I don't know. But, if he does, that one trumps this. But that'd be awesome. That'd be fire.
That would be super fire. All right, Dawson, what you got, man?
All right, so before I say anything about my channel or anything, I want to give a shout out to the people who developed the 24 app, an app that I helped develop. And if you guys have not downloaded it yet, it's on the App Store, also on Google Play, called 24. You spell out 20 and the number 4. And you can check out the website, https www.24app.com/donations. It's a game where you can play and have fun, but also donate to good causes and charities, which is always a plus in the Snyder Cut movement and just in humanity in general. And if you want to check out my YouTube channel, I'm nerdy in many ways on YouTube, and you also check me out on Twitter at NIMW32. Almost forgot my own Twitter handle. And also check me out on Vero, Dawson Weidrich. And thanks for having me, Anthony.
Hey. Always,
and you can also find us on the Four Nerds, Dawson.
Yes.
Tomorrow night.
I'm sorry.
This is tomorrow night. We got who's on tomorrow night, Dawson?
We got Sean Chandler from Sean Chandler Talks About on the Four Nerds, which is going to be absolutely awesome.
Wow.
I've been talking to him all week, and we're both excited. We're going to talk about movies in general, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fire.
Zod, you tell them about the Four
I
Nerds.
cannot believe how the Four Nerds is suddenly becoming an afterthought to everybody.
Not, I'm sorry.
Ridiculous. I feel so
He's like
hurt.
clap.
Well,
My boss
so
told me
I-
to shout out the apps. I forgot. I'm sorry.
Well, first of all, I want to give a shout out to Sean O'Connell over here. It's awesome. It was awesome talking to you again, Sean. You're awesome. I can't wait for your book. Thank you, Anthony, for having me on with you. As always, great to be on ACS. And you can find me on the Four Nerds on Thursdays at 7:30 on YouTube, and you can find me on the Zod Rider Show on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern on psn-radio.com, and you can find me at Zod Rider on Twitter.
All right, nice. And Sean, man, just for if by some miracle somebody doesn't know where to find you, tell them where to find you, man. This is final thoughts on the show.
Oh, that's not important. What I want to say is specifically one of the most fun things about this journey has been is being able to come on shows like this and just talk DC stuff with true fans. Like it's so cool. Every time someone is nice enough to invite me onto one of these shows, it's such a joy. And I just want to thank you guys for having me, honestly, because I when I started writing this book, I had no idea what the community was like and how they would either embrace me, totally reject me. And it's been such a cool evolution of this entire process to get plugged into. And everyone's so super creative, and a bunch of people have really good shows that are dialing into some amazing content. And it's just exciting to be part of even the smallest amount of it. So I love the fact that even though the book is finished, it doesn't mean that I have to stop talking Snyderverse and DC content with everybody. And so thank you for having me on, man. This is so much fun.
Oh, trust me, we appreciate having you on. Just quick final thoughts, Sean. I really appreciate you coming on. I like what you just now said, that even though the book is done, there's no reason to stop interacting with the fans and things of that nature. And yes, I can't wait to have you on again. And it was a pleasure, and I really appreciate you responding and coming on. To the rest of the guys, we talk. Do we stream every day? Do we?
Almost, almost just about every day.
If that's the case, we have a real problem here.
Well, it's almost like we're always together, which is a beautiful thing. So,
depending on who you ask.
Oh, wow.
I'll tell you one thing. Ryan's made me very sarcastic. He's really rubbing off on me. It's kind of a bad thing.
He's gotten slapped twice from his wife.
Well, when you got three of the four nerds, you have three of the four nerds almost every time. So
hold up. It's the sweet one.
I can't. She's
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
She's here.
I can't do it.
Dawson, you were supposed to make
It's enough that you got permission to be on the stream.
Sean, one day you have to hear Dawson's impression of the Dr. Pepper. Oh man, it's so
the Dr. Pepper guy that's like, it's the sweet one.
Yeah.
But I can't do it like Dawson.
Yeah, Dawson has those high notes.
Now I have to hear it. Honestly, now I have to hear it.
Okay, I think my wife will forgive me for this once I explain.
Is it gonna be loud? Is it gonna be loud?
Well, the first
It's a small house. It's a very small house. Just so you know.
Well, remember, you could always put up a tent like Nicotina.
This is true. Can I say it, Lindsay? She's glaring at me.
She's gonna kill
Oh
you.
God, you're getting the eye of death.
That means yes, though. That does mean yes.
The glare of death. There it
She
is.
said, "Oh, fine. Here we go." Okay. It's the sweet one.
That's actually really good.
Wait. There's more.
Yeah, yep.
It's a sweet. I'll never forget the first time I did that and how Anthony just like fell back in his chair. He disappeared from the camera.
Done. Because he was talking about how much he loved Dr. Pepper. I was like, well, since you like Dr. Pepper so much, do you like the sweet one? And he did it on cue like
right
that.
There.
See, now you guys got to isolate that audio. Then he doesn't have to keep doing it.
Yes. See,
Then
that way you
have
can
it as
just
a button.
Yeah.
That's like I keep saying, like, just play it so my wife doesn't have to hear it, but people can still be satisfied.
But it's so much more fun when it's live and she's like on the other side of the camera just ready to pounce.
You should have seen the face she was giving me.
The glare of death.
She looked through the crack of the door because she knew what I was talking about, and she was like, not even kidding.
The thing is, the first night that he said it on the stream, he ended up saying it like within a 5-minute span, like 25 times.
Yeah,
so
because it kept getting requested.
Yeah.
So I left the stream. I left my office, and my wife looked at me and was like, "I swear, if you say the sweet one more time, I will kill you." Like, I believe you. Okay.
Oh man,
I don't believe her, so that's why we keep pushing it.
You don't know her.
All right, you guys, it's been a blast. I'm glad we got to sneak in a sweet one before.
Gotta go get some of that Little Caesars now.
Yeah, gross. I am pretty hungry. To be quite honest. All right, Sean, I appreciate you coming on. You guys, I'll be in touch. Everybody in the chat, thank you guys for coming. Thank you.
Yeah. See you tomorrow, Anthony.
Yeah. Y'all will see me. Y'all will see me tomorrow. All right, ACS Universe out.
Have we started the fire?
Yes. The fire rises.